In this video, we're learning how to play tunes like Bill Evans. Hey, it's Tobey here. Thanks for joining me. This is the second in our tutorial series on a Bill Evans solo over the tune Autumn Leaves. Now, I think there's probably no greater tune to learn Bill Evans soloing than a standard like Autumn Leaves. So it's basically a bunch of 2/5s in a minor key. And in this video, we're going to go through some of the phrases and the licks and the lines and the chords and the scales for the solo that he did over Autumn Leaves on the album A Portrait in Jazz. So I'm going to play a couple of courses of solo for you that I've transcribed, and then when we come back, we're going to continue on with a couple of really neat licks that I grabbed from his playing, which I think you're going to be able to find infinitely useful in your other tunes. Okay, let me play the two choruses for you, and we'll come right back and start talking about it. All right, so there's the two choruses of solo. I think you'll agree with me that it's a great solo to be focused on in terms of learning his style of playing. Where we ended off was we started on this G minor 6/9 chord at the beginning of the line. And we learned that he's basically substituting a G7 chord with a flat 13 in there. And then we get up here and now we have a 2/5 of B flat. So when he gets to this C minor 7, he actually hits that as a destination. He doesn't do much in that bar, but then in the next bar, he's got this lovely little lick, which I think is really interesting. So not the easiest thing to read or to play, but he's definitely just playing really, I think, just a chromatic scale here. Okay, I think a good idea would be to listen to the recording that I just played to figure out how that actually works. Because if you look at it and you try to figure it out just by time, it's not always as easy as just hearing it and just duplicating it. And then we're right back doing very typical Bill Evans things in the next bar where he's heading to destination notes. This is the destination under destination. So he's kind of focused around this B flat. 1, 2. And then he's continuing the phrase. So where does that come from? Well, this is essentially the E flat chord right here. This is 7, 5, 3, and 1 of E flat major 7. And the rest of it is just kind of like, with the D being the destination note and the other notes kind of coming from under and over. I think you're going to hear that in a lot of Bill Evans playing, rather than just straight eighth notes. Got those licks in there, just a lot like what Oscar Peterson does. He just does it very differently. Okay, we've had this same lick before on the A half diminished seventh chord, where he's going to the fifth of the chord, and this is over and under to the fifth of the chord, which is the destination, and then he's just spelling the chord. So of A half diminished seventh, think of like that, just we talked about in the last video as an F7 13 chord. I think if I were to say, where did that come from? It's mostly a melody. He is picking off the notes of the chords, but he's really thinking about rhythm as well. And then he's ending the line with a bebop here. And then he's finishing off the phrase with what's going on in the next line. So let's go and tackle that now. We're probably going to have enough time just to focus on the next 4 bars. And we talked about this in the last video, where over a G minor chord, he's playing the F sharp, which is essentially a G minor harmonic scale. So he's using the F sharp a lot when you see minor chords. So in this particular case, the destination note would be the G, and he's got over and under. So again, when I say over and under, I'm just really thinking about it in terms of passing notes. How do you get to that destination note? And that's what really makes bebop sound the way that it does. So from the A half diminished seventh chord, and again, he's ending off with bebop in terms of phrasing. So that's backwards. Second note is short. Okay, so I think that's something you can add to your playing for sure if you're on a G or G7. Really lovely sound. And then we've got another 2-5 coming up, and that's the great thing about Autumn Leaves. It's just a whole bunch of 2-5s. This is a 2 half diminished seventh to 5-7 flat 9 of course, G minor. And really all he's doing is spelling the D chord here. So in terms of a D7, you've got 3, 5, or let's see, you've got, 3, 5, and 7 of D7, and then you've got the flat 9 over here. So. And now he's getting into this pattern where he's repeating this ostinato thing. And I think if you go back and listen to the solo, it's very prominent when those little rhythmic patterns show up, because they're a departure from the chords and the scales that he's using and just kind of going rhythmic. Okay, really cool stuff. Let's actually take a look at that next line. I think we have enough time to go for it. So again, this whole thing, right from the A half diminished seventh right through to here and even beyond, you've got that repeating ostinato pattern. So what you have is a lot of focus on this D flat, which is essentially the major seventh of a dominant seventh chord, which gives it a really cool sound. So again, I mean, most people wouldn't be playing a D flat on a D7 chord unless they're Bill Evans, and that's where he gets that unique sound from. So that's a rhythmic section that I wouldn't say is necessarily transferable to other tunes, but I think it's a good example of how Bill departs from chords and scales and does other interesting melodic and rhythmic things. Okay, if you like this video, all you have to do is give it a thumbs up. I'm going to post a link up here in the corner to the sheet music that you can go and download. It's a couple of choruses of Bill Evans solo that I lifted, and I think you can have some fun with that. And of course, make your way through these tutorials because it's always a good idea to understand what Bill is doing rather than just learn the sheet music. All right, thanks so much for your time. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up like I said before. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can go and do that. And also hit the little bell because you'll get notified of all the upcoming tutorials that we are making, including the next few in this Bill Evans series. Thanks again for your time.